Going back to his first statement when he had mentioned, because right out of the gate, that's where Harmonious lost me, was when he said on the layers of the music where he just kind of stacked them on top of one another.
Yeah.
Going back to what the Sherman Brothers wanted to do originally for It's a Small World, there is a reason why you don't combine different languages and sounds and music together. It doesn't sound like anything appealing.
No, you hit the nail on the head, George. And actually, that was going to be the finale for Small World, from what I understand, was each country was going to sing It's a Small World in their own language. And it was really a convoluted mess. And that's why they decided not to do that. That's a great point.
Yeah, so like right out of the gate, like when they did do the layers of the songs with, Moana and Hercules and Hunchback, it was like, oh, it's like too much. It's like you can't understand what one thing is saying. It's like a high schooler making a mixtape for his friends. It's like, but I will say on a positive note for the show, there was certain aspects of the show, as Dre, you had mentioned with Mulan. Also, the choice of song at the very end, Someday, from the Hunchback soundtrack, I thought was appropriate to kind of end it for me, as far as the message, because I have listened to that song before on the Hunchback soundtrack, and I can understand why they chose that song, and of how the finale is, which we'll get into the other nighttime show, which that finale, I have to say, the finale here was a little bit more better, with when they have the bolts of the pyro coming towards the center of the lagoon. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. In regards to Someday, like when Steve was kind of explaining and everything, I agree with you, George, in the sense that like I understand what they were trying to convey.
The song I thought enjoyed the way that he wanted to use the song. It was completely out of what the execution of it was completely different than what they had originally envisioned.
Yeah. And for me personally, and this is just maybe just on a personal note though, like Hunchback of Notre Dame is a masterpiece. I love that movie, but I find Hunchback of Notre Dame to be an extremely depressing movie. It's very, very sad. Yeah. So that's the only problem I had with that song in a park like EPCOT, which is supposed to inspire. I get why the song was chosen, but for me, it's just anything Hunchback is just sad to me.
I think, honestly, to use the song, it shouldn't have been the song for the finale.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's tough. And OG, you sent me a text from your friend.
Yeah.
Who just had a very opposite reaction. Who just said, why are they using Someday? I mean, this is a very bleak song, and it is. When I heard it, I was like, wow, is that the song from Hunchback of Notre Dame? And I couldn't believe they were using that song, because that song, in the context that you see it in, is supposed to be like, obviously what the France went through, what Paris went through, not just in that movie, but in history, was very dark, right? You had Frollo essentially burning down all of Paris to find the friggin' gypsies. It's like, this is a bleak time period. And it represents that, right? It's like, someday we'll be fair. Someday, this stuff won't happen. And that's kind of the optimistic message of Hunchback of Notre Dame, is that we've progressed quite heavily from that point, right? In this context, it's like, is it like really bad here? I thought I was supposed to escape into something else and have this kind of optimistic message, and yet I'm taken down a peg. It's this very kind of like you said, OG. It's this very kind of depressing thing, and I don't think the way they wanted to translate it, I don't think translated well in this form factor. I do apologize, George. I don't mean to disagree with you too much.
Yeah, I think it's for me because, believe it or not, despite of what the song means, I listen to that song a lot, believe it or not, like out of just Harmonious. I don't ask me why. Well, I'm also from the 90s and I'm a big All for One fan.
Wow.
So, you know, so I guess it's just more so the song itself just hit with me because it's a song that I listen to.
Oh, that's cool.
Just in general, but I do get what you're saying as far as what it's supposed to represent for the show.